Welcome to the Unbroken Arrows podcast. This is a Whispering Pinescast coming to you from the Pavlik McManigal cabin in the Heartland, the lake country of... It is to the Heartland.
I told you not to do the intro, Dad.
No, the Heartland of Minnesota. It's right where the heart.
The heartland, honey.
We are the heart. No. Okay, this podcast is now about Nebraska versus South Dakota.
It's interesting now.
We're going to be going with a little bit of a contest here between the two of you and how loud you can talk. And,
Well, it's going to be
How many
loud.
beers I can drink?
well, welcome everybody
split the
to
last
the
two?
Unbroken Arrows podcast. Like I said, this is a Whispering Pinescast taking place in at the cabin, the family cabin on Little Man Trap Lake. And I just want to let you know that I've got my wife, Stephanie, my son, Trey,
Hi.
my stepdaughter, Teresa, and my goddaughter, Sara, all with us here. And I just want to let everybody know here, especially Teresa, that even if you whisper, we can hear you. So,
Sucks, doesn't it?
Oh,
hey now. Anyway, we are recording this podcast against the objections of some people because we just finished up a very heated game of dominoes. And
Who won?
I did.
We didn't finish.
Yes. Well, at this point, I'm so far
You're
ahead that
currently
it
winning.
really
Who was
doesn't
second?
matter.
We're about halfway through, though. That's all. You got like
Yeah.
last.
I don't even have 100
I know.
points yet. So,
I got 100 points on my first round.
yes, you did. Yes, you did. Well, one of the
Thank you
things
for
I
not
want
making me
to
feel so bad.
talk a little bit about at this podcast is start with Trey and Sara because they've grown up their entire lives coming up to the family cabin. Now, yep, Nostrave. That's what it's all about.
Give me the tequila.
There we go. But they've been coming up truly their entire lives. You
I
were in
was
the
2
cabin.
months old.
You were in the cabin, baby.
I was bathing in the sink.
Were you a cabin
Yeah,
baby?
2 months old was my first trip up
No, I understand that, but
Oh,
So
no.
no, she couldn't have
If Mom and Dad came up here on their anniversary or their honeymoon, maybe.
okay. So
But we don't like to
Bet
think
they
about that.
did.
that's one of those things we need to figure out at some point in time. We do have quite a few
Wait,
cabin
when did
babies.
Herbie come up here?
Now stop it, Sarah. I know.
We got a fish.
We've got a fish.
She
Maasa,
got
stepdaughter Maasa, is
It's a big one.
on the dock fishing, and she just caught something.
She caught the
you need
one
help?
with the weird eye.
Do you need help?
The weird-eyed largemouth bass.
All right.
She's struggling.
It's something big. Yeah!
Nice largemouth bass.
Did she say it's a keeper? No, holy crap, it's big. Oh.
Does
it
it
a
have a messed
bass?
up eye? There you go.
That's a nice bass.
Whoa, that is.
Come show us.
Everybody on the podcast wants to see it.
That can be our photo
There
for
we
the
go.
thing.
Holy cow, it is big.
She needs
She's
two hands.
struggling.
She needs 2 hands to carry.
We both take our phones out.
Wow, she's walking up here, up the big hill.
I'll tell you what, catching bass off this dock is the best.
So much
Yeah,
fun.
well, it's
It's
the,
the,
You can't find bigger bass.
what did you use a worm or a? Oh.
They say you're gonna pose once you get up here.
is it the funky eye
Welcome to
bass?
Minnesota.
Yep.
It's the same bass.
No, it's that funky eye bass.
Lisa,
Please don't kill it. She's very nice.
Oh,
Nope.
Oh, you just saw it in the water.
you're right. Okay, we're taking pictures of Mesa's bass right now. So what did you use for bait,
A
Mesa?
worm and just a worm
Wait, let
and
me
a
see the
hook.
funky
Worm
eye.
and a hook, worm and a bobber.
That's the...
Ooh.
Oh, it does have a funky
Yeah,
eye.
that's
Oh,
it.
Wait,
I
wait,
caught
Mesa.
that bass last
Make sure she
year.
gets
It
back.
looks like a
Mesa.
largemouth
I think we
bass
should
that
ask
wants to
Bob
be a
St.
wall.
Pierre about that,
Flip the
funky
flip the
eye.
yeah.
or maybe Stan Tequila, Greg.
Maybe so, but
She
How
was-
big is
she
it,
likes
do you
it.
think?
I was going to say Bob St. Pierre would
13
know if it was
inches.
a pheasant
Here,
with
put
a
it
I think-
funky
underneath
eye,
my
but-
arm. Not like, don't touch me. But.
It's like the
I
same.
think you should probably
Okay,
put
we'll-
that thing
we'll
back
measure
in the
this.
water.
Okay.
We'll measure.
Our fa- After it
Got
You want me to help you put it
bounces
back?
off the
Nope,
ground.
I
You got it? Okay.
She's strong.
Good job.
Key.
Jake, send me the picture.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you quit
So-
dropping it?
Ooh, spider.
Protein.
Oh, it's
So, Sarah, what's your first memory of coming up to the cabin?
Ooh, mosquitoes swarming my ear when I'm sleeping. The smell. It's the smell. It's the smell of pulling in. You hit the pines, and it just hits you like a ton of bricks when you pull into this driveway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I agree.
My first memory.
Podcast listeners, if you can guess the brand of beverage that just was cracked open.
And brought to you by our sponsor.
Yeah, that's right. So, anyway, I'm sorry, Sarah.
No, you're
go on.
fine. No, I'm trying to think of. It's funny. You remember the smell. You remember the cold of the water, like when you jump in. That feeling of like how cold that is.
Do you remember your first trip? Or
I
were
was
you a baby?
2 months old. So
2 months
no.
old, okay.
And I slept in the sled. Remember the sled boat?
Yeah.
It was always underneath the twin bed or the bunk beds
Yeah.
in there, and the babies would sleep in a little red sled. And there are pictures
I'm
of
not
it. I
sure
don't
it was a
remember it.
sled. It was actually a boat.
Well,
It was a little
I
boat.
feel like that if
floating around.
anybody would put that boat in the water, it would not float.
It did.
It would have to have a perfect
But-
center of gravity.
That's why we used it as a
in the
crib.
80s, they didn't know
Yes.
how to make boats. And
Yes,
yeah,
it
it was
was-
a crib.
It did look just like one of those sleds.
No, but I came every year, I think, from birth to 18, I missed one summer.
And why'd you miss that one?
Well, because
summer?
I was a teenager and thought it'd be way cooler to stay home alone
Yeah,
than
I bet.
come up here. So,
I bet you got a few stories about
yeah,
that.
well,
time,
that's
too.
another podcast.
Yeah, that is.
And mom and dad can't listen.
Now you and Danielle bought the cabin down the road
In 2020.
in 2020.
Yep.
And what prompted you to do that?
Well, COVID, I really do
Cool.
think. Yeah, COVID helped. We were living in downtown Austin, and high-rise apartment, needed space. It was always a plan of mine. I wanted the property across the way because I wanted our family to have all of
The
this.
whole point.
But I thought when I would
Shout out
retire,
to you. Thank you.
yeah. Well, I thought it was retirement, and we came up, and I'd written. So Tom and Alice owned that, and there was the Yoo-Hoo Trail. So Alice had this trail. I'm sure Grandpa or Tom would mow it, and they'd Yoo-Hoo, Yoo-Hoo. They'd be coming over.
Happy hour usually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I do remember those on this porch. I was not of age, but I remember the fun, and I thought it'd be great just to have this. And I love the log cabin that Tom had built
Right.
that he had never finished. I thought, we could finish that and live there and then do something else with the land. And so I wrote a letter to Tom and Alice's daughter and said, hey, if you ever sell, I'd love, at least just let me know. Like, first, like, and hadn't heard anything from her. And we were up here in 2020, and it was Dad's 70th. So Josh, Stephanie, and I were here. We were sitting at this table, and that house down the way went up for sale, and Stephanie called the realtor. It's like, let's go look at it. Anyway, long story short, we ended up putting an offer on it, and we're going through the process, and I was sitting here at this table the next day, and saw a voicemail from Tom and Alice's daughter saying, hey, I'm going to sell the place. Do you want it? I was like, okay, we just put an offer on this other place. Like, okay, what do we do? So what else do? You go out on the boat and you just think. And we set up the gas lines. Do you remember this? Because I called you. I'm like, we took the pontoon out and
Yes,
the
I do.
motor shut off. And
Yeah.
right in front of their property right here. And I was like, the pontoon stalled. What do we do? What do we do? And I thought, this is a sign. It's stalling right in front of their place. Like, I'm forced to reflect on this. And my godfather's like, I think you just messed up the gas lines. I'm like, oh, okay. And that's what happened. I messed
Pontoon's
up
just
the
not
gas
working.
lines.
It's not that deep.
This is a sign. I'm supposed no, you messed up the gas lines. So then we kept going. And anyway, we ended up staying and got the house and love it. Love every bit of it. And it's not so close. So maybe it's probably good that people come up here to escape, right? Like,
Yeah.
not to be, sitting there and staring at me over there. So I don't know. But one day I still think
Hey, turn the lights off.
we'll still get it. We'll still get it.
I just want to point out that in a previous podcast, I explained why Whispering Pines, or how Whispering Pines got its name. And as Sara was talking, there was a wind that blew through, and you could probably hear this in the background, but we are outside, and the pines are whispering to us. So it's pretty cool.
I wish you could show a video of this so they could see it.
Well, gee, we have video capability,
Right.
but
But let me just, off of that, so Whispering Pines, because your grandfather named it, right?
correct.
And we wanted to name our place. And when you look at, we have a few we have 13 pines left. I think they cut down quite a few to build, but it's mostly birch. So we've named our place Boisterous Birch.
Whispering Pines and
There's no
boisterous birds.
whispering happening in our place.
Great grandpa came up with Whispering Pines.
Yeah. That
I
is-
saw that like 100 miles outside of Park Rapids.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I wish he would have trademarked that or done something, but
There's several things he should
yeah.
have trademarked.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he did have the first curved windshield,
And those outlet
Patented.
covers.
and
What?
yeah, you
The
didn't know
ventilated
that?
windshield.
No.
The ventilated
The
windshield.
billionaires.
It was yeah,
I saw it's in Dave's basement.
yeah, the original patent
It's
for
insane.
For a ventilated curved windshield.
1928,
And
February
he,
20th.
And he
or
let it
something.
go, and the next year somebody picked it up. So
No.
yeah, it's like Trey said. Matt had the original paperwork, like copies made of it, and
That's the patent in
and
his basement. Don't swipe
framed
left or
in his
right.
basement.
Please let me do this live. Is this live? Tell me it's live.
Yeah, it's like
Oh my gosh.
it's
Will you send
February
this to me?
28th, 1928, I believe, or 12th or something.
So Trey, your first memory of the trip to, well, you also were too young to remember
Yeah,
your
I was a
first trip.
baby
but,
being here.
Yeah.
Well, we
So-
can go pull it out.
Yeah,
'cause
we've
the
got
The journals are incredible.
We've got journals.
I love that I'm in control of this podcast when I mix it, so I can cut out that last part
Which last part?
about me getting wrong invention thing.
Oh,
I
it's
think
okay.
that's fun. That's the best part.
Yeah, but no, my first memory is that yellow tub bathing in the sink.
Really?
I remember that.
Really?
I remember doing that. I hated it. It was the worst thing ever. But other than that, when I was like actually conscious, I'd have to think about it a little bit, but I remember the feeling of being up here with everybody. But it's
Running down the
amazing.
stairs.
I still run my same
Me
path
too.
since I've
Me too.
been 3 years old. Like I still step on the same stump that's out there, that root that's sticking out of the ground. Still use that as a step ladder. But the
I'm not laughing at you, Trey. I'm laughing with you because
Dad knows that the drive up is everything to me because we would
What was
pile
your
up
first
the drive up.
spot? Like, but what did you see and you're like, oh, we're close?
The big Minnesota sign, and then
yeah.
I would be the "Are we there yet?" kid.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then we would see the Minnesota sign, and Dad say, "Oh, 100 more miles or 200 miles or whatever," and I would think it's the end of the world because I just want to be here. But the drive up, Dad had these CDs, and he had his mixtapes or whatever of his favorite songs, and he would have these CDs that he had Gordon Lightfoot, I don't know the other bands, but he had a CD of 12 to 13 songs that resonated with me since I was 5 to 8. I mean, I don't know when you had those made, but we would pile up the Suburban. Everybody would be in there all wild up and ready to go, and we'd leave the house in Osmond about 7 or 8 a.m. It would take us 10 years to get in the car.
I'm sure.
We'd leave at the ass crack of dawn and
Right.
get here when it's night. And those drives up were something that I will always regret being able to experience again.
Yeah.
And I want to recreate that with my family. I don't know how I can. I don't think it's possible because you and Mom did such a great job with it. But that was the main thing. This whole place holds everything about it. Is
A lot of memories.
yeah, it's
A lot of
it's
memories.
a lot.
Danielle calls it our holy ground. This family's
It
holy
is.
ground.
I've never
Yeah,
been
that's-
closer to God than being here. Like it's everything about it's so perfect.
The Alex just asked me the other day who was the youngest of our family, of our 5 kids, that made the trip to the cabin. And it was you, Trey, and I'm not sure that I think you were just over a month old when we came up, because we celebrated Alex's birthday up here,
Must have sucked.
and he asked, he in the summertime he always wanted his haircut short, and that year he had 2 teeth missing, and the joke was, he was our bald, toothless old man, at however, this is the second time, guess the beverage that was just
Guess the
opened,
beverage.
and we'll see what can happen there. Prizes to our listeners. But 1 month old, and we have a picture. At one time, do you remember when the Claw,
Oh.
the wrestler, the Claw from
there's a
Omaha?
movie out about him right
Seriously,
now.
I did not know that.
Oh, you got to bring this up with Danielle too.
This
'cause
is
Okay.
Alex's Willie moment.
This is,
Pretty
but
Willy
yeah,
I
he,
do, yeah. Oh,
Shamu moment. Yeah.
he,
100%. I remember this.
we,
oh God, I
we
remember
wanted
this.
he wanted to go to the wigwam to meet the Claw.
Right.
And so we went, and we have a picture, and of course he sells the black and white, the
Should be on the wall in there still.
yeah, there's a couple
It's
of
in the
different pictures.
furnace room, I
Yeah,
think.
of him doing the Claw, holding it, and everything. Well, so he was holding Trey next to Alex, and Holly and I thought he was going to drop Trey, the Claw, and
Did he?
no, he did not.
He did.
Makes sense now.
Everything makes more sense now. But so anyway, yeah, a month old you came up, and that was your first trip, so you would not.
I got to
remember.
meet the Claw and you didn't.
Exactly. That's actually a good story.
Yeah, no, that was one of those times. But we talked about Alex, when Alex and I were talking about that, we were talking about different trips and same kind of thing that Trey talked about. But my brothers and sister, we would come up in a variety of combinations to open and close.
Yeah.
And some of those memories are times when, what do you need? Because we could cut these things out. Go ahead, talk. Oh. Go pee.
Go pee.
We were talking about what?
Grandpa building that urinal.
It's in your hand.
No, when she started to do the sign language and we stopped.
Oh.
It's okay.
Oh,
This
no.
breaks
I'm
happen.
so
We were
distracted.
talking about Trey and the claw. Okay.
Guess
yeah,
what
the
that
Claw.
one was too.
if anybody can name that beverage by
They're
the
all
sound,
different.
yes, they are all different. Just so you know that. So anyway, back to Trey and his earliest memories, which he couldn't have remembered, but
With the claw.
with the claw.
So you were 1 month. I was 2 months. It'd be interesting to know what grandchild was
The very
youngest.
first one.
Well, the youngest. Like,
Yeah, the
meaning
youngest to
I
be up
came
here.
up. I was born in April. I think it was July, but it might have been August. So it'd be nice to know, like, what's the youngest baby that's been up here of this group.
That's got to be close.
It's funny that we're both here for this.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Maybe number one and number two. Though
might be.
one of the things that and I've never talked to Trey about this before, but he and I have something in common in the fact that I never ever made a trip up here to the cabin with Grandpa Vandrachek. He passed away before I ever came up here, and the same with him,
Same with
with
Trey.
Grandpa Pavlik. And that was something that was a little bit of a difficult. Sorry, Maasa just caught another fish. It's just a bluegill, just a bluegill. But
Oh, that's sad.
where was I going with this?
That you had the same experience as Trey,
Yeah,
not
but
with your great grandfather or your grandfather and his.
oh, great. The first trip up here after Dad died was Mom, Grandma, Alex, and me. And or would that be I? No, I don't know. Alex and me.
Me.
Yes.
That was a
But not
topic
mom and
yesterday.
grandma. It was your
my
mother.
mom, grandma. That's right. But now we have crows. We had ducks earlier, but now we have crows in the background. So Masa's coming up to show us the bluegill. But anyway, that was a tough trip,
Oh, I bet.
and I can remember Mom having a tough time from time to time. I'm going to start this over just because there's so many people doing sign language here.
Timestamp pops.
You know.
Can you put your hand around it, Mesa?
What's the timestamp?
Do your fingers touch? No. Well, that might be a keeper.
She's got a small hand.
Does she have little hands? Okay.
No.
Then maybe not.
No,
Her hand is like half my size.
I think we're good, honey.
Well, good job.
That was a keeper.
it probably was.
What's your timestamp on that?
24,
Is there something down there for her to keep?
30.
We already flayed
Yeah,
what
we
we
do
have,
have.
so
Yeah.
Oh.
We're not- Unless
You
do you
don't-
want us to keep them for you? Okay.
Hey, Mesa, keep it.
Too late.
I know, that's why I said it.
Oh, she's gonna try to catch it again.
Catch it again. I'll take it. They're cleaning.
First trip up here after Dad had died was a time when Mom came up with my son Alex and me, and you know, it was one of those things that was important, I think, to happen. You know, our podcast is Unbroken Arrows, Healing Through the Hunt, and like I told Catherine a few weeks ago in an interview, I was kind of talking through something, and I said, you know, for me, it might be more of a hunt for healing. And that was one of those things I think that was necessary for Mom. And I remember Alex being very aware of that and making a comment about, you know, Dad, do you remember when Grandpa would do this? And, you know, Dad, would you remember? And I'm not laughing at you, Mom. I'm laughing with you. But we were sitting down at the table, and we had, Sarah, what do you think we had to eat?
Soup.
We had soup. And Alex was sitting there at the soup, and he goes, Dad, you know, I'm just like Grandpa. Grandpa always slurped his soup.
His soup. Oh, my
And-
gosh.
And that was it. That was
Yeah.
the straw that broke the camel's back for Mom, and she just broke down and said, you know, Greg, can you get him to stop? And, you know, saying these things about Grandpa. And, you know, I thought about it for a little bit, and, you know, I said, no, Mom, you know, these are memories that I want him to tell these stories. I want him to remember these things.
Yeah.
And that's all part of it. And
Grandpa would want.
as you both know, we are a family of storytellers, and that's a Vondracek thing, as much as many other things that kind of go back into the traditions. But so, Sarah, you mentioned your dad's 70th birthday, and I
did. By the way, I have one question before you move there.
Sure.
Like, how did Grandma respond to that?
she understood,
She did.
of course.
Because she's a strong, stoic woman. So it's like one of those things, especially for me to be like, for Grandma even to ask that
Right.
is pretty impressive. But again,
Right.
child. Very different.
Grandchild, child, and also, you know, you got to remember the context. It was a little over a month after he
Yeah,
died.
'cause it was July
You
he
know,
died.
No, it was
June.
June that he died, and it was July that we were up here. So
Yeah, so June, July. Yeah.
So-
Can't even imagine what it was like.
yeah,
to be
yeah,
up here.
you're
No.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
You just the 25th, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Is it 25th?
I think it is. Huh?
I thought
That's
the
part of it.
25th
No,
was
it's
2
it's
years
after
ago.
my birthday because I can remember one of the last conversations I had with him. I said, "Pop, it's okay. It's okay to go on the 21st." You
Yeah.
know, I said I'll share that with you.
Yeah.
But nope, I want to say it's June 25th. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yep.
Anyway, sorry. You were
No, that's okay. That's,
editing that out.
we
I
go
was
all,
just
we go
curious
all
of
over the
Grandma.
place.
Yeah, yeah, I'm always curious with her.
No, and she, when we lived in Osmond, there were, and after Dad died, it was so easy to call her and say, "Hey, you know what? Any number of the kids. It could have been Sydney, it could have been Alex or Elliot or Trey or a combination of all of those, or Stacy. We're going to head up for a few days. You want
Right.
to come with, And there were some times she just got back and that she didn't even have her suitcase unpacked. And she would be like, well, my
Yes.
suitcase is still packed.
Exactly.
I'm good to go.
I
Although
did the
there
same
was
thing.
one trip that when Trey, here we go. When
Yep.
Trey,
Can I say what I was thinking earlier? When she
Yeah,
when
go
she
ahead.
said that thing to Alex, she's like, make him stop. I immediately thought about, I'm never riding in a car with Trey ever again. she will say what she thinks when she needs to.
Oh, of course
Yeah.
she
That's it.
will.
No,
I still tell that story to this day, but I don't remember
What'd you
it.
do?
But I know I
mean,
cried a
well,
lot
no,
and I screamed a lot.
it was,
and I was
I think,
I was overbearing.
that was a trip with Alex, Trey, and Sydney, I think, and Trey was still in the car seat.
It was
And
was
when
a
Trey
closing trip, I
when
think.
Trey would start to, when he'd get upset, he would scream, and we just ignored him.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, we just ignored
Well, I was
him.
in Nashville in college. When
And
you,
that's true. And so lo and behold, we're on our way home, and Trey was screaming about something, and mom lost it. She just like, can you make him stop? If you can't, I am not.
I remember that.
No, it's
I was
okay.
Still
What do
in
you
pain
need
for
to
the
do?
next 5 years.
I cut my toe.
with a hook?
I know. I
Oh,
don't
no.
know. Oh.
Fishing
Oh,
line,
a
probably.
fin. I bet the fin of the fish. Those little panfish will get you.
It was progressively for the next 5 years too that I annoyed the shit out of her in the car. I remember
But
I
she
sat-
loves you so much. This blows my mind.
I sat next to her in Uncle Dave's van on our way up for closing one day, and I was being annoying because we were in a McDonald's. I think we were in Fargo, and all I wanted was a large fry, and you wouldn't let me get it. Then I got it, and you said you're not gonna eat it all, and I didn't eat it all. You gave me shit for it, and then I come here and I have homework to do, and she's telling me to do my math homework, and I don't do it, and what do you know, I get popped on the mouth and
From grandma? Oh,
from Dad.
Don't talk back to your grandma.
No, she would call down. I'd be on the dock, and
I
she'd
think
call
the
down
only
to
one
me.
that ever spanked me as a kid was grandpa. He just he's like, I'm done. It was kind of like running down the hallway. He's like, just get out of here. Like, I feel like I raised 10 feet off the ground and
Yeah.
it landed.
She would call me down from the dock to do my homework because Dad and everybody was working, and I was here for closing or opening, and they're all doing the work, and I'm sitting there fishing,
Oh, yeah.
and Grandma's the one calling me to do my math homework, and I did not want to do it,
No.
but she
Now,
kept
Trey.
me on my my line while I was here.
I was gonna say she kept you on the honor roll, but no, that wasn't the case.
I don't make the argument for best grandchild. So.
That was Alex.
Sydney will say it every time she's
Stacy, Sid.
the area code is grandma. So
But I feel like all of your children love it up here.
Well,
All
Absolutely.
of mom's kids love it up
right.
here. Like, and there are others that are come up and I think everyone loves it to a degree, but
it's
the extent that we
it's not
come
for
up-
everyone because we call it the family cabin. It is the cabin Whispering Pines.
it's a
but
real cabin.
It is it is a seasonal cabin, uninsulated.
Yes.
I mean, you're
You
not going to
see
come up
the
here in the
sunlight
wintertime.
coming through.
That's right. That's when you get the caulk gun out, and
bathroom.
when you see the mosquitoes crawling through the crack. That's when you make sure you get the. I remember times when you'd come up here after someone was here, and there was like toilet paper shoved into cracks.
really?
It's like okay, folks, we need to figure out something to do here.
flammable.
Yeah.
I started talking about opening and closing a little bit, and that's one of those things that I need to have siblings on here to talk about that, because those were some times that as adults, as a kid, we were only up here, the 5 kids,
Right.
and mom and dad once. Dave was 11 years older than me, so Dave was off to college, in various stages of their lives. But the first time that I ever helped close was that same fall, the same year that Dad died, and it was just the 4 boys and Mom. And so Terry and Dave and Mom drove to Osmond, picked me up, I should say, to leave to come up here. And when we got here, it was dark. And as you come around the corner and pull into the driveway, the lights on. Pete lived in St. Paul at that
that's
time,
right.
and he had a pot of soup ready to
he
go. And the cabin was warm, and that memory will be something that just is always. I as soon as I got here, got my tackle box, a grain belt beer, and went down to the dock.
And you were 12? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yes. I got married really early, and went down and like on the second cast caught a northern off the dock. And
That's the stuff that'll just make you break down for a minute. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
And so that was the first time. But then, we've talked a lot about my kids, your siblings as well.
Oh, it's again, it's like
we got married up here.
Stephanie got married up here.
That's right. And your brother Josh officiated.
He
That's
sure
right.
did. And Grandma was
family.
here, and it was, there's not a lot of places to stay, and we didn't have our place at the time,
Yes,
so we stayed
yes.
at Little Norway.
Stephanie and Rick, Uncle Greg was not invited. And might I add, this is effing Greg was not invited, but that's a whole nother
explicit,
story.
just say it.
That's a whole nother story that can be told at another time.
Another time.
But
And it was beautiful and wonderful, and it shows how special this place is. Like, I think and that's what's interesting is, I don't know if, because we live so close, but it's not close. It's like 8 hours. What was it?
right, 8 hours from
it's
Verdigris,
a haul.
you know.
But you were saying, like, we would only come up a week or two a summer, ever. Like, and I love it because when Grandma and Grandpa were here, it was fun. They were generous to allow us to all stay in this place together. But it wasn't until we bought this place where I started to explore anything outside of here. Because when I was here, I wanted to be here. Like, if Mom's like, hey, we're going to town, I'm like, nope.
But see,
Yeah.
that's
Same.
interesting. I was just telling Stephanie this story is that, especially I thought in my mind, you guys would go off and do things. You guys went tubing, right?
That one time
One time,
to
okay.
Charlie's, one time. And it's still very much an ingrained memory, but that's when Dad's cousins, Jim and Bonnie,
Right. Yeah.
came up with their girls, and they have a place in Canada, so they're used to all of this. And so, yeah, we would go, and if you're here for a week with all these children, right, you're
Right.
like, we got to get out
Get
at
outta
some
here.
point. But that's the extent. Like, and then we go to Dorset for,
A taste of Dorset.
Yeah, Taste of Dorset.
Yeah.
and we go to Park Rapids every once in a while. But like, as soon as I could stay here alone, I would stay, because I wanted to swim, fish, or just
Do nothing.
yeah.
Yeah,
I did
that's
not want to leave this
The best
place.
part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can
'Cause
do. You can
Danielle's
sit on
like,
that
have you
sun
been
porch
here? I'm
for
like,
8
no,
hours
I've never
straight.
been there.
Yeah. and
I've
that's-
never been to eat there. I've done more in the last 4 years up here than I did in my first 40.
And that's what I was telling Stephanie, was that when we got up here, it was just you mean we've got to go to town, and that
Still
would be
get
one of
mad
those
about
things,
it.
yeah, and I can remember one time closing again, we had some furnace trouble, and one night I made 3 trips to town just to get parts for the furnace. And that was like, okay, this is an all-time record.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
you don't want to make that many trips to town. But
It's a job at that point.
let's go back to your dad's 70th birthday.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun time
And
for.
orchestrated, yeah, because you were up here by yourself.
Yep, I was up here by myself, and your mom and dad were heading up here, and
We knew there was going to be a day or two crossover.
Right.
We knew something was going to cross over. with
right,
you, or they were.
And then you guys, did you get it? I don't remember who got in contact with
I
me.
did. I
You
did. I said, look, we're going to surprise him. Because Josh is in Albuquerque at the time. Stephanie was in Omaha. And then, yeah, I was in Was I? No,
Yeah,
I was in
you're-
Austin. I was in Austin
Yeah,
because
you
that's
were.
what
Yeah,
the year we
that's-
bought this.
that's right.
So, yeah, I was like, hey, we're going to surprise Dad. So, like, can you, just make sure they're sitting outside at this point in time when we get here? And so we had this whole thing where Josh and I flew into Minneapolis. Stephanie drove up and picked us up. We drove up. And so we were texting you the whole time, like, okay, here's our timeline. And, like, all we needed you to do is, like, just get them outside. And they were all sitting here. And Greg strategically seated.
I only put 2 chairs over there.
over there.
Yeah.
And he sat where Trey was. And I'll never get this. I think about it every time we came up over this hill. And we walked down the drive, and Dad and Mom are just chit-chatting, and Greg's like, just, okay, playing it cool. He's got this. He's so good. He's so good. He gives no inclination that something's about to happen. And then we just kind of walk up, and we're like, happy birthday, Dad. And Dad just loses it. Mom, of course, loses
Oh, yeah,
it.
that's-
And Greg's like, look what I did. I helped.
That's
I
right.
helped.
That's right.
And you nailed it. You
Yeah.
nailed it. It was...
Well,
it was so special. It was so special.
It was, but you called me only because I almost ruined the anniversary thing. Remember that with the phone call when the
Oh my! No,
we-
their retirement party.
That's what it was.
So Mom and Dad retired, and Mom's like, "Well, I guess I'll retire too." And God, what year was this? This is
Well, Trey,
8 years ago. 7
yeah,
years
Trey
ago?
was playing baseball with the Columbus Mariners because we were at a tournament in Sioux City.
Okay.
And we're driving there, and I'm like,
Oh, and
Neither-
Grandma knows about it, and
Right.
she's a mess. She's like, I hate keeping secrets, and I'm so stressed out. I'm going to ruin it. I'm like, Grandma, you're fine. Like, just get dressed, look good. She looks great. And then, thankfully, you did a group text with me and my sister on
Right,
there and
right.
said, "Hey, Annie, I'm so sorry. We're gonna miss it. We're not gonna make it to the party tonight." And this will show that my eyes get so big. I'm like, "Ah," and Stephanie starts crying. And I'm like, okay, this is typical. I said, look, okay, time out. No, you text all 4 of us because
Yeah.
I had to confiscate Mom and Dad's phones.
yes.
And I figured out, I knew Mom's password. I didn't know Dad's. Figured out Dad's. Went in, grabbed their phones before they could see it, and deleted the text that Greg sent of, hey, I'm not going to make it to the party tonight. Because they think we're getting family pictures taken.
Right.
And that's why Grandma's there, getting dressed
Yeah.
up.
I almost effed it up big time.
Effing Greg.
All
Yeah.
4 of us.
That's why
I was
Stephanie
so
cried.
Grateful at least you put us on the
Yeah.
text
Yeah.
and not just Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I run down and Dad's like, "What is wrong?" I said, "Dad, I just need your phone for a second." I can't remember what I told him, but we said, and it certainly didn't ruin the surprise.
Well,
They were very surprised.
but I made up for it.
You sure did.
I-
You sure
I-
did.
I-
You
I-
owned it. You got them here, and there's nothing more perfect than walking. I'm sure your 3 children who don't live in the same town and are not ever together walking over this little hill that no one can see. But
Yeah, I still
Looking
have that
past
picture. I
that
still
one.
have that picture.
That
in
would
my
have been
mind.
so cool to
oh,
experience.
so wonderful because we could see Greg sitting there,
And he's like,
and we waited till we got like right, probably
Holding
where
his
that
breath.
vehicle is. Yeah, he's like, yeah.
No, I was just making sure the conversation, because as soon as I saw them come over, it's like I wanted to say something. That
Now
was
we
gonna
would have
make
been there
sure that
earlier,
they-
but we stopped at 71 Bottles. This podcast brought to you by. We'll get it.
Oh, by the way, I need to go get a grain belt because of the 40 tokens that was saved over the last 5 years for a free case of beer. That's another hint, folks. Of all the things that you heard opened,
None
it
of
was
them.
not a one.
And you think it was
grain
only
belt.
5 years? Those tokens added up.
Yeah, because that was the first year I started saving them. Yeah, was that first trip.
We didn't
for
know
me in
about it the first
2020.
2 summers, but I was like, can I
Well,
just
Stephanie found out something this trip is that, I thought you only got one when you bought a case of beer. And she says,
No, I bought 2 cases of beer. And I
you
only got one token. It's per
That
visit.
happened. Yep, that happened to me once.
Okay.
I meant
One
to
of
tell
them
you all that.
cases is gone.
So I was like,
okay.
I'll go back in. And
Now, see, I misunderstood that. I thought you could walk in the door and get a token. See,
Well, I don't know if it's per. I don't know.
it is per visit.
If it's
It is
per
per
visit,
visit.
no
There's
matter
only- it's
what
one
you
at a time.
purchase.
You could buy 40 cases and could get another one.
But I don't
free.
know if you have to have one visit and a case.
You do. That's
Yeah.
the
Okay.
only way
Okay.
you get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have, I don't know, we have quite a few tokens, and we typically don't buy cake. Well, I guess Busch Light, yeah, yeah. Because we have maybe 10 over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Because we don't. Because I prefer.
Well, there was one year we do. If anybody is listening and wants to help out Ronald McDonald House, the tabs off of pop and beer and any kind of a beverage, they collect those and they use those to pay utilities. And so that's one of the things I try to do with everyone I know. We collect these tabs. Mind you, the Trey keeps slamming his beverage down on the table, so every time. That's right. So anyway, remember, it's a seasonal cabin. We open sometimes early May, usually mid-May, usually around Memorial Day. And we close up usually sometime late September or early October. And there was one year that there was like 800 or 900 tabs in the little cup that we...
Yeah.
Now, you can do the math. However many weeks that is divided by 800 or 900, it's a substantial
I'd
number.
like to know who was here that summer.
Well, I was a lot, and Elliot and I closed that year, and the Red Solo Cup made
Oh,
so
yeah.
famous by Toby Keith, may he rest in
Rest in
peace.
peace, Toby.
But it was full. We filled a Red Solo Cup one summer, and yeah,
Oh,
we did kind of make it a life, or not a life goal, but a goal for us when we closed,
be-
because Alex and Trey came up and helped fill it. as
Fill
well.
that- fill
do
Red
you
Solo.
remember? So this would have been the first time I stayed up here by myself, and so I would have been 21, and my brother and his friend came up, Ryan, and Mom and Stephanie were here, and they left early, and we stayed 3 days. And in those 3 days, a lot happened because Josh was in Mankato for college,
Right.
And so,
Both Stephanie and Josh went to
she
college
went to
in
Marshall.
Minnesota.
Yep, they both did. And we drank a lot of Busch Light that weekend once Mom left. Yeah.
Hint, hint,
Hint.
hint. Wasn't that
And
one though?
You came up right after, and that was when the trash bin was right here, right outside the door.
Right.
And we thought we were being cool and like folding down the boxes and putting them in. Like, what? Who would know that we had? It's the first thing you call and go, "Who drank all the Busch Light?" I was like, "Are you serious?" The first thing you said to Mom was, "Who had all the Busch Light?" Mom's like, "Well, I didn't have any Busch Light," and I was like, "Thanks, Uncle. Thanks, Godfather, for ratting me out of the 2 cases." 2 cases,
Not 2 30-packs, huh?
Yeah, the squares. No, what was the
Those are
squares?
30
Like,
packs.
30 rack.
Yeah.
yeah, it was 2 of. No, I didn't. I hated Busch Light, but Josh and Ryan, they went to parties around here. They did everything, and that's when
You don't taste
they
them
went
after
to
4.
a party. This is actually in one of the journals. They went to a party in Park Rapids. I was like, I'm good. Like, again, I just want to be here. I don't want to go into town. And I'm writing in the journal, and there's storms coming in, and the electricity goes out. And I've never been scared up here. I've actually been scared twice. And
But you've never been scared up here. Oh, I've actually been scared twice. Okay.
but when you're sitting in that and it's dark out and the electricity goes out and it's pitch dark and you're alone in this cabin and knowing like there's no one around, you're like, okay, that's a little scary. The other time I was scared is when we first bought the place. Do you remember you and Grandma left and said, hey, there's a trash
Oh shit. Yeah.
trash bag in the garbage, can you go get it? And I was like, oh, absolutely. Well, this was, I don't know, you probably pulled out at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I maybe got it that night at 6.
No. If
Or the next day.
I don't know if I forgot it I think we left a lot earlier than that because I couldn't stop at the landfill.
Yeah, you couldn't
yeah.
stop. I was like, I'll get it, but it must have been the next day. Because we were going into town the next day, and so I'm like, oh, we'll go get the trash. And I come over, and y'all, bears got into it. So there was apparently a mama and her 2 cubs around here. In the trash bin, for the listeners, it's one of those plastic, like you can put 2 trash cans in it and then lock it, but it wasn't locked. Well, it may have been, but that bear lifted it up.
We never locked it until after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That female lifted it up, threw it off, got all the trash out. Mom had compost, right? I'm sure like Grandma has her compost thing and like coffee grounds, and you could just see the bear claws scooping out the compost, like but they drug it in 3 directions, so it's like there are 3 bears in 3 directions, and I was like, I've never been that close to an encounter with a bear, like. So we came over that night, and we had just moved in and have nothing to cook with. So we're like, oh, we're going to grill over here. We couldn't because this place is locked up. We didn't have keys at the time. And I'm like, I'm so scared of bears coming. I mean, I've never in my life been so scared. We put a hot dog on there. We're like, we're going to get attacked. We're going to attack. So we went home and ate.
I can remember you
microwave
sending a
hot dog.
picture of that, and
I
think there might have been a caption, something like, thanks,
Yeah,
Uncle Greg,
Hey,
thanks,
thanks
Godfather.
A lot.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Godfather.
Yeah,
Like, and
because
now
then you
I
had to
feel like
clean up the
I'm
mess.
surrounded by bears.
Well, we're gonna
I've seen
we're
3
gonna
this time.
bring in Stephanie and Teresa now
Oh, please
because
do.
we're talking about bears, and first off, Stephanie, this is your 3rd trip to the cabin. Is that correct?
That's right.
And Teresa, your 2nd.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite memory, Steph?
Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's hear it, Steph.
I would say, to be honest, following these 3, talking about their lifetime experiences up here.
She's gonna cry, folks.
I've been holding it off
I
for so
know.
long. You can't do it.
you're-
You stopped me when I was about to.
Everybody's voice is
I'm not Annie.
quivering.
I'm
and,
not Annie.
Oh, it's okay, Steph.
That's what this place is for.
Yeah, and you were gonna make Trey cry by drinking tequila, but
He didn't let me. It's his fault. I was with you.
Yeah, I have my own experiences with my own family and our cabin in South Dakota, and I just nothing compares to a family that grows up in a place like this. And to be honest, being an outsider, coming into this just 3 years ago is the first time I experienced it. And then last year, well, actually 2 years ago, I experienced it for the
Right,
first time.
right.
And then last year, Greg and I got married and we came here for our honeymoon, and then now this is our 3rd time. But it's just unbelievable, I would say, to hear the stories and to know the experiences that people had here. I have nothing compared to that. I really struggle with mosquitoes.
That's a story. Actually, you're the first one to bring the net.
We all do. We all do.
Yeah.
That is
We
kind
all
of your
struggle
thing.
with it.
Like you've established your own thing here.
here's
which is
an
incredible.
asterisk with that, though. Please, I don't want to get excommunicated because of this, but yes,
No,
there's a mosquito.
I'm sure of all the. Think about there are 20 grandchildren, right? 5 siblings, 5 spouses. I guarantee half of them are like, why didn't we think of that? Why
Well,
didn't we have the net?
I'm not really sure, but I think that this spring, as we were talking about this trip, I don't know if Greg has ever told you, but this establishment has been in their family for over 90 years. Is that correct?
That's right.
1931.
So we're not talking about I mean, I kind of wish I could take a picture of this and show you what it is. We're not talking about a real modern
It's not
day.
the Ritz.
Well,
It
what
is
do you?
a
I would tell
shack
my
in
high
the
school
woods.
friends it's 2 steps up from a tent.
Right,
So just get you're not tent camping.
Right.
You're not sleeping in the car,
right.
but you're here.
Yeah,
And,
and so my first experiences were a lot of like when you were sleeping, and
fun memories, or what I call that.
yeah. And what I attract is mosquitoes, and so I would wake up and I would have hundreds of. Well, okay, that's
That's
exaggerating.
exaggerating. That's
what it feels like, though.
exaggerating.
I
It
completely
is.
understand
I
what you're saying.
had
It-
dozens.
And when you can't sleep,
It's
Yeah.
head to
because
toe.
of
It's
it,
like,
it's
yeah.
not that work.
I had dozens of mosquito bites, and I would just stay covered under the covers, other than my head and my wrists, and I would wake up with mosquito bites in all of those places, and it was miserable. And so, because I wanted to support my husband and his experience and his love of this place, I purchased those what would you say, like back in the 90s when girls would have these like
Canopy beds.
Canopy
with-
beds?
Yeah.
and they would have
You mix the canopy beds with Africa.
yeah
Like what they put in the mosquitoes are the size of your face.
The
Yeah.
tsetse fly.
Yeah.
So there's those nets that hang like from the top of the canopy bed or the ceiling, and then they fall down to the
I'll
bed.
post it in the comments.
Yeah,
but
well,
There you go.
We'll have the picture.
it's fantastic.
I bought 3 of them because Greg was not interested, and he was like, "I'll get excommunicated from the family, whatever." I bought one for myself and for both of the girls that were with us.
I thought you only bought 2.
No,
There's
I
one
bought
not
3.
even out of the package yet.
Correct. Because
Holy
Teresa,
shit.
when we started, Teresa was like, "I don't need one." And so I put one above Masa's bed, and I put one above my side of the bed because Greg was like, absolutely not. And then after 2 nights, Teresa got bit up. I think she counted 21 bites.
What bed were you in, by the way?
In the middle room.
Yeah, in the middle room,
Top,
the one by the
bottom.
window.
By the window.
Oh, the day bed.
The day bed.
Because that's the other thing we need to circle back to is how all the cousins, we would write a note of who slept in this bed.
Yeah,
So
I've
the
seen
next
those.
time someone came, you knew, A,
This
is my
they were
bed,
nasty,
so don't
dude.
get in
Yeah,
there.
Hell no.
That's right. You claimed your territory.
this isn't about like, oh,
I
hey,
farted
Sarah sleeps here.
486
No,
times.
This is Sarah's bed, stay out type of thing. But that didn't work. And so then it
Just
became
right on the
a,
wall
like,
at this point.
oh, Trey slept here, like type of thing. So it's the question we always ask, like, oh, which bed do you take?
So whose bed is she in?
The day bed's new, so that
Yeah,
used to be
that-
a full where adults would sleep most times. Top bunk was mine,
Okay.
and
Well,
then
she's
Bottom
in the day
bunk
bed,
gang.
and
You're the-
2 days into it, Mesa was like, "I'm done with this.
That
I don't
nightlight's my
want to
shit.
like deal with it." And she pretty much sleeps like an Eskimo and has her covers
Yeah.
and she's got a CPAP and all the things, so she's like covered anyway. And so Teresa took her canopy or her net, whatever you want to call it. And she has been sleeping with that since. Of course, the first night she had it, she didn't have it tucked in all the right places, and so the mosquitoes just got into
in.
Or
the
the inside,
inside. And so she like
which is worse. It's like I'm inviting you in, and now you can't get out.
exactly.
So-
So that was the experience. But anyway, to circle back, I really admire this family and their dedication to this place and their memories, and it's all just very nostalgic and unbelievable, really.
It is.
So.
Yeah. We joke it's the holy ground. Like it's you've got memories that are great and memories that are. I mean, I've got memories covered with poison ivy from head to toe and being miserable, and yet loving it and still coming back.
Well, that's
Like,
right. And the weather. I mean, there's times like right now, the day started out.
Oh, the day was horrible.
Yeah,
Like,
it was miserable this
it's
morning.
cold, it's windy, it's
Right.
not sunny, and then the sun
And then
comes out
the
at
sun's
3
out
and
When it needs to be, it's
exactly. You're like,
Right,
well,
right.
for us now as adults, it's perfect.
Yeah.
As children, you're like, you wake up, you're like, no.
I was a
No.
child on the boat today, and I was pretty upset about it.
I was too. I was mad. I was like, I really thought for sure we would
the
all be
hell?
out on the pontoon swimming
mid-June
today.
in
And I'm like, oh,
Minnesota.
okay, well, here we go. But yeah, the smell, the sounds, everything about this place, the boats, you see these, they're out. What's your worst boat experience? Like, share that.
Well, can I
Sorry.
come back to this
Yes.
one? Okay.
I will.
Okay, Teresa, this is your second trip to the Whispering Pines cabin, and
I'm getting attacked.
you're getting attacked not by mosquitoes,
love
but
you.
by Trey and Sara.
Yes.
What are they saying? You got to say what? Everything positive, everything. You're gonna make her cry, Trey. I don't know what's going on. No,
I can make myself cry,
that's
and then
okay.
you'll feel bad.
So,
I got
Teresa,
a mattress on our
your
hand.
second trip.
Yes.
Are you gonna kick the table anymore, Trey? So we can.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
It
Yes.
picks up everything. So anyway,
Now you
My
can't
engineer
move.
told me that the other day.
you know,
with my
I
guitar
can
recordings.
think of a few things from our first trip, you know, that were, you know, very heartfelt and sentiment from my perspective. You know, we watched This Is Us, and
The power went out.
the power went out, and we went to Bemidji for hot dogs and those kinds of things. You know, I'm just going to tell you, okay, we've had ducks in the background, we've had crows in the background. You know,
Now you've got-
I'm gonna do my Merlin app right now, and I'm gonna tell you what birds are in the background right
Tell
now.
me which
but-
one that was, because it sits
but
outside
so-
my window in the morning, and like,
Sounds like
I think it's a robin.
oh, is it?
If it is, I'm sorry. That's gonna be.
EP.
Who said it was a robin?
Me.
Both of them.
All of. Yep,
That's
it's a
a robin.
robin. I thought it was gonna be more extravagant than that.
It's always like a set of 3 or
It's
4.
like getting eaten up by mosquitoes. I don't
Nobody
love
does.
being
No,
so
that's-
hot that you
Are there
can't
no
sleep at
mosquitoes
night.
in South Dakota?
There are mosquitoes in South Dakota. but
I'm in.
They're only available to eat you alive for a very short period of
Right.
time at dusk.
I
You
feel
know?
like, okay, can I be clear on one thing? I love that you've shared all of that, because Danielle, I think, experienced a similar thing of like, what have I gotten into, right? But you two both had a summer where the mosquitoes were so
that was
bad.
the worst year that I ever remember.
I've never
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
mosquitoes that bad. And then after you all left, and I went and took a video of down there, the birch, like I've never seen anything like it before. So
We need some
your
dragonfly
first
food.
summer here, I don't know, was it such a bad winter? They had
Well,
so much
it
snow?
was
or-
yeah, it was. There were a lot of different things, but was also, and I will say this, and I need to, you know, do some different research on this, but dragonflies eat a tremendous number of mosquitoes, more so than purple martins. You know, so people always have the purple martins, but excuse me.
Purple martins are a
They're a
huge
bird.
thing
They're-
in South Dakota. Like if you drive down our Lake Home property and you drive down the road, like
Well, you've seen
literally
the-
every
Yeah,
other
you've seen the
cabin
houses.
Are they the
has
lights?
purple
Martin
martin
houses.
houses.
The bzz, bzz,
They look like an
light
apartment
or what?
No,
building,
they're-
birdhouse.
The little
They're-
holes,
Yeah.
like 6 by
Six
or
of-
3 by
yeah.
3 by 3.
Those are
yeah,
those
yeah,
are
yeah.
martin
Okay.
houses,
Yes.
and people have those, but
What do
but
they
they
do?
eat
I don't know.
dragonflies.
They eat mosquitoes
they
as
eat
well.
a lot of insects, but
Yeah.
they eat dragonflies.
Dragonflies.
And
or
dragonflies
eat
eat
mosquitoes.
mosquitoes.
A
So
purple martin is a
people need to
Well, we have
understand
to
that.
clarify this actually with
Well,
Stan Tequila
yeah.
because he says that purple martins also eat mosquitoes.
Well, they do.
But like, do they
but-
eat more mosquitoes or more dragonflies? And
But
what's
there you can tell a significant difference
Yeah,
between
that's what I'm-
the
But
moment.
you guys don't have purple martins up here.
I don't. Well, I've never even heard
Exactly.
of that, so maybe
Exactly.
not. But
I'm
the
asking
minute
you
the
if I.
dragonflies come,
But-
Trey's like, I've never heard of it. I was like, dude, I haven't. But
That's
dragonflies.
That's
eat.
my point. As soon as the dragonflies, we either need to stop drinking
Said no
or
one.
Or continue drinking.
or drink more heavily. By the way, I think I need another
I think it's a
mystery
really-
beer.
Pause.
I think it's a good idea that we
Anyway.
have a sound editing
Person.
gentleman with us.
Besides, he's the one
Danielle's
making
not
This
here
one
because
very
she
well.
she's
Besides-
such in your boat of like.
So if you're
I
going in, let the
inherited
door
this.
slam so people can hear the
Yes.
door
Oh
slam.
yeah, no, I'm so we can pick it up with Danielle.
Besides,
like,
you
that's
said
the shit
something
that stays in
about
my head.
editing, but he's the one that makes the most noise.
Anyway, you
Okay,
were saying that.
here it is. Wait, let it slam.
Let it, because that. Oh.
Well, that's the first one.
And honestly, it's the back. or the front
the
door.
front door. But see,
that-
yeah,
And do you know Grandpa's put that little rubber ball to catch it so it wouldn't? Because we kids would just be like running out and just like boom. And he's like, okay, I can't do this.
but we talked about mosquitoes and Stephanie with the mosquitoes. But to be honest, when both doors were being used all the time,
yeah.
that's when it was bad.
That's why. I
That's
mean,
when it was
the
bad.
doors were never closed. Like it'd always be wide open. And because even when I walk up here and that back door's closed, I'm like, are they gone? Like it's usually just.
We need to come up with a screen door of some. You
Guess that beer that I just shook up for.
Shook up. It starts with.
Now you need to mix them up so he doesn't know which one is shook up.
You need to keep out of it.
All right. So what's your favorite?
Yeah. So Teresa,
thing?
tell us.
Spikes aside.
Yep.
I don't know. That's like the saying I don't know annoys the heck out of Greg.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, one thing. Just what comes to mind that you're like, oh, that's actually.
There's a lot of trees. Like
Yeah.
at my lake cabin, there's a couple, but like this is like a forest.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty. I like
Have
that.
you gone on the troll trail? Oh, we're going there tomorrow.
What is it?
It's so Little Norway is one of the resorts on this road.
Yeah.
And they own a bunch of land, and they've, cut a trail through, and we call it the Troll Trail. I think it's still the Troll Trail. I'm not real sure.
We've actually gone by it on the UTV when we go by the cabin, and you rode by it on your bikes. So
yeah,
it's in
there
that area.
there are 3 entrances that you
Yeah.
drive by, and we'll go tomorrow. It's truly my favorite place. It's where we could run as kids. Like Mom and Dad would let us run free as children. Huck and I went through it today. Like, he loves it. He runs through like he's a little kid. Huck's a dog,
Yes.
not my child. And I've taken my niece and nephew on it, and they think, because we call it the Troll Trail, and just like we did as kids, like, there are trolls here, and so you're looking for trolls. And so I would tell them every time a tree's down, they're like, oh, that troll, he threw that tree down, or they're making a house over here, they're doing all of this. We're talking about Teresa's favorite moment, and I asked if she'd been on the Troll Trail yet, and she said no. So
Oh, I bet we have. I bet we rode. Oh, you weren't with
no,
Mesa
walking.
and
It's
I.
walking. Right
It's a
over.
walking
Oh yeah.
trail.
I know, but it's from
You
the Von
did.
Dracek.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
There's a
That's
cut
one,
through,
yeah.
Right.
but there's the actual. I mean, it's probably half a mile.
The forest one?
Yeah.
Didn't we
It's
go
not,
on that
it's
in
not
the
where you can walk
ATV?
or
Yeah,
you can to the
UTV
Von
or
Dracek.
anything.
That's the cut through
Either.
part of it.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
what I'm talking about specifically,
so
you can't UTV.
There's
you can't.
Yeah, no, the actual the entrance. There's a little
Oh,
gazebo.
Gate. Yeah, I think it
says
says
Troll Trail.
in Norwegian.
I've been in that.
I don't know that we went on that because all I could think of is massive amounts of
Fair, and not always. I went through today without any, this afternoon with no spray on, and I was great. I also, if I can share this story, as a 12-year-old, we had our cousins, Jim and Bonnie, Dad's cousins, and their girls up, and we were playing at that time, I don't know, in the 90s, Ghost in the Graveyard was a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
Still actually don't remember the rules of that game, but I was hiding. I was like, oh, I have to pee. And I popped a squat in the Troll Trail, right in a patch of poison ivy.
That sounds
And that's the
familiar.
end of my story, because it was absolutely tragic
Well,
from there. But yeah, I'm done. You all can just fill in the rest, and it was that bad.
My
It was
mom wiped her butt with poison ivy at one point.
You did.
Yeah, I was out in the Black Hills of South Dakota actually, and we were biking, and I had to pop a squat, and it was a beautiful fall day, and this just amazing red area.
So she wiped her butt with it.
Yeah. She did not know the leaves of 3 let it
Let
be.
them be. Well, there's
Let's just
but
say
there's
that
sumac
red-
and oak that can be just as deadly to your under regions.
I showed up at the ER in like
No.
Deadwood, South Dakota, and was like, I need help with my lower regions.
I think this is the time they're like, they tried to give me steroid shots and it didn't do anything.
Yeah,
but,
I'm not really
yeah.
sure what they did, but I don't remember. But I took anything I could get at that point.
So, Tracy, do you remember the rainstorm when the power went out?
It wasn't even raining when the power went out. It was after it.
It was?
Well, do you
Yeah.
remember the rain before?
This is your
Yes.
first
power
trip,
went out?
obviously.
Yeah, the first
your
trip.
Do you
Yeah.
remember where the rain was?
Well, where the rain was leaking through the roof.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I mean, the roof doesn't leak.
Well, it
That's the
did.
thing. It did that. It's the wind has got to be from the south,
Right.
and it's got to get.
Well,
you know,
and pine needles can get underneath
Yeah.
a shingle, and then because that's what
But it's
happened on
the
ours.
the flashing, the tin flashing is the.
Do you remember the roof leaking?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our
On you.
first experience, and it wasn't maybe a couple days into it, right?
No, but you mean it? But a couple of days into
But
it.
a couple days
yeah.
Yeah.
into it, right?
Yeah,
and
so-
I was like,
I can imagine this is almost like that thing of like put a frog in a pot of boiling water
Right.
versus put a frog in and then
Yeah.
let
Warm
it
it
boil.
up.
Like
It'll
you
jump
get
out.
used to this experience as like young because we were all babies obviously when we came and just got this is all we knew
yeah.
versus you have an entirely different place in South Dakota and then come into this.
Well, I remember specifically one of Greg's sister-in-laws saying, "Let us know what dead animals you find in the cabin when you get there."
Oh, that's rude.
And I was like, "What?" And I thought, "Oh my gosh, are they serious?" And we did a little bit of a run through, and thank goodness, the first time we came, I don't think we found any dead animals. Now this time we came, and we could smell a dead animal.
Well, I couldn't, but you could, and
I
then we thought it was the trash, but it was a mouse. I mean,
It was
you know,
a mouse.
you get those.
That I didn't find. Of course, Greg was like, "Tomorrow I'll do a thorough."
This time around.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
did. Yeah. Because I think this winter, chipmunks moved into our place. And so we opened in mid-May, and then we're gone a month and came back, and there were mice in the house. Like, I was like, okay, I get winter, but end of May, they're moving in. So there are people here before you, right?
Yeah,
So the mice kind of kicked in end of May, I think.
yeah. Well, it is part of nature. I
It
mean,
is.
and you
It
kind
is.
of.
Except when someone doesn't like it, and I understand that. And guess that beer.
And guess what? Hummingbird just came by. Grandma, we've got the hummingbird nectar in there.
They're hanging out in the tree and bushes over there by your
Sign.
sign.
Okay.
Huck and I, because Huck likes it, because Mom gives Huck treats, the dog, so he wants to come down every time.
I forgot to get
And I
some
stop him
again.
up there. I'm like, come on, she's not there. She's not there. And then I was standing there waiting for him to turn around, and 3 hummingbirds are just hanging out right over there.
He is so bad. He can't remember. This is Trey.
He had his
Do you
phone.
hear this sound? That's Trey.
He put his phone
He didn't
on
say
the
a word
table
about it. No one
again.
would say anything.
Anyway.
Oh yeah.
I
you're
did have
gonna
a
edit
honey.
out.
Remember when I had longer hair, I'd wear a bun up top, and I was walking over here, and the hummingbirds attacked my bun. I'm like, okay, it's not your nest. You don't get this. It came in. It just
The thing you're.
Remind me not to wear a bun up here.
yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Hey
We're not up
Catherine.
there.
Hey Catherine. Just for the record on this, if we want to take a month off, I think I'm just going to hand this over to Sarah, so she can
Sarah
run
and
the
Danielle should have a
podcast
podcast.
from here on out. But
I would love to hear from Teresa though, like her experience between the two
It's better that I'm here. Right?
cabins and the two experiences that she's had, because she's only 14, you know, like her experiences.
okay, I'm going to be a 14-year-old girl and answer this question. Okay. Well, Grandpa and Grandma Peter's cabin has air conditioning.
No, you don't even get that. Yeah.
You know, I don't have to sleep in a mosquito net. Okay, the positive here is the water's a lot clearer,
She gets to
and I
hang out
don't
with
mind
Sarah.
swimming. Yeah, I get to hang out with Sarah.
Because think about, we would never see each other like this. Like if I was in Nashville or even maybe St. Louis a little more, but so I like
right.
that aspect.
Do you have any words of your own?
Maybe
Do you want me to say anything else?
They
the
both
question
have
was asked.
their bonuses and minuses.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Good answer.
Can you
Like, what
expand?
are they?
I don't.
What's your
I vote
least
for you.
favorite?
I don't
thing?
know.
To
You
be
stopped yourself. You're going to say, I don't know.
What's your least favorite thing, Teresa?
No,
About-
I would say, what's your favorite thing?
That's- we
about you?
started with
I
that. We
said
started
the
easy.
trees.
Oh yeah.
And that's where I asked if she went to the troll trail.
Tongue twister.
What?
Wine,
Sarah.
IPAs.
Yeah.
Well,
Troll
two more.
trail. Yeah. And then,
Right, because you're a little bit of a mini me as far as you like the Black Hills,
I do.
you like trees, so I get that. Yeah. What else about this place do you appreciate?
I can't say I don't know.
Yeah, you can't say I don't know.
The clear water.
yeah.
Because then,
That's
because
game
then when
changer.
I get out, I don't have green stuff all over my swimming suit and my body and my hair.
You experienced something new
Wait,
this time around.
I don't
Just
know.
a minute.
Yeah, I don't know if we should talk about that, but go ahead. We might edit this out.
No, we won't.
Oh, wow, okay. Well,
Or out of my
Greg
brain.
It's up
told
to me.
us that this is how he was grown. Like because he didn't have a shower or a bathtub or anything here
Oh, we should
until
like all the
you were how old?
Until when?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought you were
High
comparing.
school.
No,
Oh,
we
you were
did.
already married.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
we
already
got
married.
indoor plumbing when I was 16 years old. And
Okay.
I'm
no.
25.
No. We always had indoor plumbing.
Not the toilet. Well, oh yeah, we
It
weren't
was a
allowed
shower.
to use the toilet
Right.
until I was 16 years old. When you got the septic tank, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Now,
who was
you're,
able to
you're
use it?
stretching it a little bit.
No,
there.
I'm not. I
Yes,
promise
you
you
are.
all my
Who
life.
are you trying
Then that's
to
a
save?
Stephen.
Maybe it's
thing
14 because Grandpa was still alive when I was able to use the restroom in the middle of the night because we had to use the outhouse all the time.
That's Sarah. That's a invented memory.
Well, okay. Well,
Maybe your mom and dad imposed that upon you.
sure. They're like, look,
I
kids,
don't
we
even
want
I don't even remember having to go out to go use the outhouse.
I woke mom and dad up to take me to the outhouse. In the middle of
Oh, then Annie, Steve, that's horrible that you
Okay.
made your kids do that.
So back to Teresa. Experiencing something. that
Welcome to the
she-
family, sweetheart. You got to fight your way in.
This is just like when we were playing dominoes, okay? You wanted
So
that, you
Greg
got it.
said that he didn't have a shower here until he was like in high school or something like that. Okay. So you got to
46
experience
years ago.
something that he did all of his
Damn
grown up
close.
years.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was it?
I showered in the lake.
Yeah.
And we have swimsuits on when we're showering in the lake, just to clarify.
That's a story I do have to share, by the way. Go ahead.
So
Well-
we just bring the shampoo and conditioner and like body wash down to the dock and then
Disclaimer: you can take an empty water bottle, put it in the water, bring it up, and it's like a brand new water bottle. That's how clean the water is.
The water is very
For
clean.
any-
It
Yeah,
is.
it's-
It is
it's
very,
very
clean.
It is the
clear.
cleanest
Yes.
water I've ever seen,
Now,
and I will
is
never relate it to
reef
anything else.
friendly shampoo and conditioner here?
Of course.
It's Norwex.
Oh,
Ooh.
sponsored
A sponsor,
by
Stephanie Pavlik.
Pavlik.
Stephanie,
Independent Norwex
Stephanie,
consultant.
there you go.
Stephanie Pavlik.
He needs a certain amount of sales by next month.
Yeah. Too bad this isn't going to be published
Please.
before then. Yeah.
Please cut that out.
Anyway, so
Okay. Anyway, yes. So that was kind of exciting.
Was that this
right?
time or the first time?
This time.
It
You
was
never
warm enough
told
for you
us
to do
about
that?
that. This time, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love.
I-
I
we-
like
We've jumped
We-
in.
Was
do
it
that
last
and then
Two,
kick
3
your
times?
feet. There's a way you kick your
Lucky
feet
ass.
and put your head.
Go jump in right now.
underwater and- I love.
It's probably
bathing.
warmer than
The
our
day after
outside
she
atmosphere
did it the
here.
first time. So
Exactly,
she did
go
it-
jump in.
She did it 2 times, 2 days in a row, and the second time I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna try this. It's so cold. The water is so cold, and I'm not 20 anymore, and I'm certainly not in my teens. And
Greg.
I know.
But did you feel better? I like a cold plunge. Did you
Burn.
feel better after when you got out?
The water is fine, but like washing in it and putting my head back in it and stuff, I couldn't do it. I had to get out and shower. I just couldn't do it. So
Here's the thing I experienced last year for the first time is Danielle and I were floating out in the water over Labor Day weekend. And one of the things I appreciate about Minnesota is